Alright, I went ahead and got the thermistor installed. What I did was I took the two ends of the thermistor and taped them together to make sure they were insulated. You want to go ahead and install the thermistor now, because if you fatigue those copper wires on the thermistor, they'll break off. And you'll have to do another one. So what I'm going to do now is just take one of these zip ties and lock that thermistor in place, and then cut the zip tie off. And then now what we have to do is the hardest part. Okay, I told you this was the hard part. What we need to do is we need to make a hole that's 19 millimeters on the top and bottom, 17 millimeters tall on either side. So what I did was I took a piece of blue tape and I drew my square that I'm going to put on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 16-inch drill bit and I'm going to drill holes along here, but holes so that they're not touching, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come behind it with an 1/8 of an inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill it out. And what's going to happen is it'll drill it out, leaving a whole bunch of little circles here. There's going to be a lot of little pieces sticking up here, and then what I'm going to do is get a file, or you can get a stick, put sandpaper on it, come down there and sand or file all those things down. So let me do that for you real quick and I'll show you what it should look like. Okay, I went ahead and drilled the little holes in on this side. You can see how close I'm able to get them. There's actually space right here for me to put one more hole, which I'm going to do. But then what I'm going to do is come in here with an 1/8 of an inch drill bit to show you how it opens this up. And then I want you to repeat this procedure on the other three sides. And what should happen is the centerpiece should just fall right out. Okay, I just finished cutting this out. Here's the piece that came out of the center. And you'll notice when I put my piece up to it, it doesn't go in. It's not too bad. I got a little bit of filing I left to do. And what I do is I use these files I got from Harbor Freight. They're like $1.99 a piece. A lot of times these big pieces you see right here, you can take wire cutters and cut them out. So what I'm going to do now is file the rest of this out and then get back to you. Okay, the plug is installed. And if you take a really close look at the plug, I know you can't see it on this video, but it's squared on here, it's squared here, and then right here, there's a little piece of plastic in the corner. If you look at the plug, or the female end, you'll notice it's got a corner here, and it's square here. That's so you can plug it in only one direction. See, I can plug it in this way. I cannot plug it in this way. It won't go. It won't go in. So when you put this plug in, make sure that the corners that are rounded off are put up on the top. They're facing up. If you don't do it like that, when you put your cable in, you'll short out your oven. You'll short out your controller module also. You don't want to do that. So in the next step, we're going to show you how to make that pretty little band that goes around here. Alright, so what I've done is I've taped all four corners of this, and I've left a couple millimeters free all the way around. I've taped the socket up and I put tape on four sides. You want to get some JB Weld Classic. This is JB Weld Steel, sometimes it's called. It's black, kind of a gray, and when you mix it together, it looks like this. It turns a dark gray. JB Weld is high heat. It works perfectly on this oven. What I'm going to do is dab some on all four corners here. Okay, I got JB Weld on all around the edge. What I'm going to do is just take my finger, lightly rub across like this, get rid of the excess. Just like that, wipe my finger off as I'm getting this done. Now once you've done that, you're going to immediately remove the tape like this. You don't want to leave that tape on there, because what will happen is that JB Weld will seal that tape in. This is optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. If your plug is a little bit loose inside the hole, then you're definitely going to want to do it. Alright, so we're calling this done here. So now before we continue with the oven, we're going to have to let this sit overnight, let this set, and then we'll finish up the oven. Alright, what I did was I went ahead and removed the blade connectors, and I just went ahead and put the male pins on there. I really don't like too many connectors in the way. It seems like it reduces the amount of signal that gets to the microcontroller. So here on the shell is our socket, and you can see it glued in really nice. It's nice and tough. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the first two holes here towards the front of the oven. I'm going to put the thermistor on the top and the bottom. The middle one I'm going to reserve for the top heating coil. The one all the way to the left towards the back, I'm going to use the bottom heating coil. So this double pigtail here goes on the bottom, hooks up to the bottom two, or correction, the last two holes towards the back of the oven. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, here is the shell of our oven. This is the front of the oven, this is the back of the oven, and here is our socket. You can see that we have glued in there. Here's the leads for the thermistor. Remember I said the leads for the thermistor go in the front like this, so we're going to go ahead and put those in. And they're in. So these two bottom ones right here, we're putting this pigtail in. Like so. Those are in nice and good. Now this is the lead to the bottom heating coil, so I'm going to put that one here in the very end, and that one is in. This lead right here goes to the top burner. It's a little short, so I'm going to put that in just right before we finish putting this together. The last thing we have to do now is just screw it back together, and let me show you how that's done. What I had to do was massage this shell on. It's a little bit difficult because the front of the shell goes inside this lip, and then the shell has a lip on it that goes over the top of the back, and at the same time these end pieces right here fit across the bottom. So you get the lip on, you can use some blue tape or something like that to hold it in shape. There's 4 screws in the back. So what I did was I put the 4 screws in about halfway, not the entire way. That leaves me a little bit room to maneuver this shell around here on the back so that I can put these legs in. Looking really close at these legs, what you'll notice is there's little holes here and here. And there's pins on the leg that fits in those holes. So you have to fit those pins into place, and then try, if you can, to get these screws into place. And sometimes that can be difficult to line it all up, but it's not impossible. So I'm going to go ahead and put this thing together really quick for you. Well, that's it, guys. We've taken this $20 Walmart toaster oven and turned it into a reflow oven. In the next video, what we're going to do is take this $9 Radio Shack project box. We're going to turn it into an enclosure for your LCD, your PCB, your keypad, on-off switch, all of that stuff. That's it for this video. It was really lonely working it without McCrae. Buddy, I hope you get well soon.